All right, Harry, today we're in Matthew chapter 9, verse 13, right? And it says, but go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. So what does this mean, Harry?
Yeah, that's what Jesus was saying to the people is mercy and not sacrifice. And I had to think about that for a bit. That was a question that came in, and I thought, well, but then I got thinking the Old Testament. Okay, in the time of Moses, when they were the people when Moses and Aaron had all the people of Israel in the wilderness, and then Moses was called up to be with God for 40 days, and he'd been gone for a while, and Aaron says, we're not sure where Moses is. Hey, he said, why don't you just give me your gold and see what we can do with it? So they all handed in their gold, and they had lots of gold. They had enough to build a big golden calf. Anyways, that didn't go over very well with Moses when he came down off the mountain. But it was amazing how much money people had for sacrifice. Then the next story I find interesting is the other way, is David. Before he was king officially, David fled from Saul for about 7 to 10 years. Saul was constantly chasing him and wanting to kill him. And then at two different times, David was completely in control. One time Saul was sleeping at his feet, and he walked into the enemy camp, and his cousin said to him, he says, we can do this really quick. And David says, no, we're not doing that. He's the Lord's anointed. We're not going to kill him. And he had mercy on his enemy. And even after Saul and his sons died, David still had mercy on him and his family. He was sort of like Jesus to the Old Testament. He had just mercy for those that despised him, and it was just it was really stunning, really. And we have also the kings after David. A lot of kings were not good kings, and they were Baal worshippers. And it says a few of them, like Manasseh and a few others, they sacrificed their own sons in the fire to their gods. I mean, my goodness, talk about sacrificing. But yeah, that was what they did. But they had no mercy on people. And all God was asking was tithing, and no, but they weren't doing that. And the Pharisees in Jesus' time, they were even tithing the herbs from their garden, but they had no mercy for the poor and the oppressed. And Jesus really didn't have much kindness for their behavior.
Harry, I have a question for you, okay? So let's say it's 2021 now, right? We've got all those Old Testament examples out of the way with the difference between sacrifice and mercy. How can we apply this into our life today, right? In the year that we live today?
Yeah, and I was kind of trying to think of how that works, but it got thinking, what about our sacrifices today? And we as Christian type people, we have money for the church and money for Christian radio and money for missionary work and all these things, youth groups, food banks, street folks. We have money for everything. Even a big new church seems to have money for that. But the sacrificing is the easy part. But what about the mercy part? How do we do mercy? Like maybe going to be a missionary, to give your life for that, or to go street preaching, that's in your own neighborhood. That could be done. What about just being Jesus to all the people around you, to share with them, share your testimony and so on, and then suffering possibly for sharing your faith because you want people to find life. That is really what mercy is having a care for the souls of those around us. Sacrifice always seems to come easy, but mercy, yeah, that's still a struggle for all of us today.
Awesome. That was very well explained. Thanks, Harry.